So this is what it looks like when the doctor gets sick. Sometimes you just have to slow down. Hello, my fellow broke aristocrats. It's me, Dr. Whimsy, your favorite naturopathic doctor who teaches you how to stay healthy without breaking the bank. Believe it or not, I've been home for 2 days with a bit of a bug. I don't want to call it the flu because I'm not completely incapacitated, but I decided to shoot a Broke Aristocrats video to talk a little bit about how I stay healthy without breaking the bank. Because believe it or not, sometimes doctors do get a touch of this bug or the next. When I first started seeing that I was getting exposed to a lot of not so pleasant things was my 3rd year of medical school. It seems like I spent a lot of time in medical school either tired or fighting some kind of a cold or an infection. School in general that can put us at risk because we're stressed out, we're not sleeping, but more importantly, we're surrounded by a lot of other people that might be carrying different bugs. This is why the school season, the start of the school year, often means the start of the cold and flu season. I remember when I first started medical school, I was tired and stressed out all the time, and it seemed like I was always fighting some type of an infection or another. That especially became a problem during I think it was my 3rd year of medical school when I started to work in the clinics as an intern. So the questions that I have gotten over the last couple of weeks are, do I believe in the flu shot, and how do I take care of myself when I am not feeling well? Well, the first thing I do is I give myself permission to rest, which is what I'm doing right now. I've been home taking it easy for the last couple of days because I really think just letting the body do what it's supposed to do, which is rest, is one of the best things you can do for your health. And the reason that happens is because your body is taking all of its energy and focusing on the healing process. So even we see in animals that they will simply rest, drink good clean water, stay hydrated, and give your body time. I think that's one of the most important things you can do for your health, and it really doesn't cost any money. The only thing you're losing is time off from work. Hopefully you've got paid time off you can use if you're on those sick days. If not, it's still important to just give the body a rest. People that will take medications that suppress fevers, suppress the symptoms of cold and flu, I'm not a big fan of that because the body is mounting a fever for a particular reason. It's trying to raise your temperature so that it can kill off any kind of virus or bacterial infection you might have. So just be aware that medications that make you feel better don't take away or reduce your risk of sharing that infection. It doesn't stop you from having an infection, it just takes away the symptoms. So what happens is you then feel better, go back to work, and then expose your colleagues to those nasty bugs, and that's not necessarily a nice thing to do. So if you can take time off to rest, I encourage people to do so. And of course you want to stay hydrated. Drinking plenty of water is a great idea, but understand that if it's filtered water, it's very likely low in electrolytes, and so you really want to make sure that you have some electrolytes. You can buy electrolyte powder. It's not particularly expensive. You can get it at most health food stores, and just put that in your water and drink it, just to make sure that you're getting your electrolytes up. Because if you're drinking water but you're not taking in electrolytes, you can still wind up with some unpleasant health challenges if you've got the flu or a bug. There are some herbs that I like for helping heal the body or hopefully reduce the amount of time I'm sick. I'm a big fan of elderberry, and the reason I like elderberry is because there's some real clinical studies that show elderberry seems to be helpful in reducing the number of days we have a viral infection. There's been some studies on zinc and vitamin C that come back mixed, but it doesn't hurt to add vitamin C packets or pills, and zinc lozenges as well. There's also been some mixed studies on whether or not silver is effective, specifically what we call the sovereign silver, or the silver that's found in water as an electrolyte. Again, there's been some mixed studies on it, but it may be helpful. Really, again, the best thing to do is to simply get some rest. There was another question I received recently: do I believe in the flu vaccine? And my response would be that I always encourage people to talk to their doctor and find out what the doctor thinks. There are certain people that are more vulnerable to serious side effects if they catch the flu, and for that population we certainly would want to encourage a flu vaccine. That would be anybody with a compromised immune system or a senior citizen. But again, you really want to talk to your doctor to find out if you're a good candidate for the flu vaccine. An interesting side note is that we've also found that people that have an extremely healthy immune system can sometimes have an adverse reaction to influenza. An example would be the influenza epidemic that I think took place in 1918, where the majority of the victims of that influenza were young people. They mounted such a strong immune system to that influenza that it actually resulted in death. So just an interesting side note. Again, if you have questions about whether or not the flu vaccine is right for you, be sure and talk to your doctor. I guess my answer is yes, I believe in the flu vaccine for some people, and for other people it's not particularly necessary. Also, if you take the flu vaccine, it doesn't protect you necessarily from getting a cold if the cold is a bacterial infection, or if you get a virus that is not the flu, which is what I have right now. I just have a little bit of a bug, but it's not really the flu. Okay, so that is hanging out with me, Dr. Whimsy, while I've got a bit of a bug of one type or another. I'm going to make myself a strong cup of tea. I'm going to maybe return some emails I needed to get back to. I'm one of those personalities where it's really hard for me to just sit back and do absolutely nothing. This is a really brief Broke Aristocrats. I thought it was appropriate since I wasn't feeling well. Take care of yourselves and tell me what you're doing to prevent the flu, or take care of yourself during this flu season without breaking the bank. Thanks a lot and take care. Bye-bye.